Welcome to the Light Up Podcast. I am your host, Amy Wilkinson. I'm an intuitive guide and soul mentor. And through this podcast, you will receive conscious conversations, powerful downloads, and soul-stirring activations that will both support and inspire you to tap into your intuition, follow that higher calling, and live a life aligned with your soul. Because you are here to co-create a life rich in abundance, freedom, and deep joy, and to unleash who you truly came here to be. And we're here to help you discover how to access that. So let's dive on in and light up. Hey guys, it's Amy. Welcome back to Light Up Podcast, a little mini bite-sized episode for you today. So take a moment to pause in wherever you are, whatever you are doing. Can you just take a moment? Let this be an opportunity, an excuse. You can give yourself permission to just pause. Don't press pause on this. Press pause on everything else. If you're driving, just bear with it. Maybe you're just going to receive the words. So you don't have to pause your car. Or maybe even come back to this episode so that you can actually take a moment to drop into stillness and just receive. If you're anything like me, I listen to content and listen to audiobooks and podcasts quite often when I'm on the fly, if I'm cooking or if I'm driving or if I'm cleaning. There are times when I'll put the earbuds in my ear, except I don't use earbuds, so I don't even know why I said that. I'm not a big fan of earbuds. It feels like it's frying my brain. Nothing against anyone that uses earbuds, but I prefer to use old school they're not even old school headphones. Anyway, I digress. Let's bring it back to this practice. So if you can take a moment, I invite you to just place your hand on your heart and connect in with your breath. Because the question that I'm asking you is this, and it's an inquiry for you to check in and ask yourself, how am I nourishing myself right now? How are you nourishing you? Now, you might be thinking of nourishment as food, and that could be one aspect. But the nourishment that I'm really referring to is soul nourishment or spiritual nourishment. It's doing the things or even doing nothing that lights you up, being engaged in the practices, in the processes, in the rituals that remind you that you are whole. Why is this so important? My friends, this is so important because one of the biggest lies that most of us believe most of the time is that we are lacking in some way. And you only need to look out at society and our culture that is constantly thriving, or striving for more, to acquire more, to do more, to be more, to get more, to need more. And yet all of that are things, all of those things that we're seeking, most of them are material things that are outside of ourselves that don't actually even bring us the feeling of wholeness when we've got them. They might give us momentary gratification, right? I must admit, I do like to buy the odd thing for myself. It feels nice to begin with, nice shiny new object or whatever it is. But it's futile. We know that. It's very fleeting. So the nourishment that I'm talking about is, what is it that reminds you that you are whole, that you are lacking nothing? And what is it that brings you back into the remembrance of that? Because this is the lie that we believe. The lie that we believe is that we are lacking in some way, that we are not whole. And the truth that we forget time and time again is that we are enough. You are enough. So what would feeling enough What would that feel like for you right now in your life? If you knew right now that you were enough, that you were doing enough, that you were being enough, what would you do for the rest of the day? What would you do? Would you keep going? Or would you pause? Would you savor? Would you go and have a nap? Would you go and take a bath in the middle of the day? Would you go down to the beach? Would you go for a walk? Would you go and catch up with a girlfriend? What would you do? And how often do you actually prioritize this pathway of self-nourishment? How often do you give yourself an opportunity to just do something for the love, for the pure joy of it, rather than to achieve or acquire something? So I'm just inviting this reframe today, this shift, because it is our nourishment that helps us to grow in who we are and in who we are being. And the more that we can be, the more that we can reclaim our beingness, our worthiness, our wholeness, the more we are going to find ease and grace and joy and abundance in our lives, because life just responds. Life responds to our frequency. Life responds to our energy. So come back to this practice. What is nourishing me right now? And I want you to notice what you notice. Maybe you get some words, a feeling, texture, taste. Maybe you're seeing an image. And if you're not quite seeing anything or feeling anything, then ask yourself, what would I love to do right now that would nourish me? What would I love to do this week that would nourish me? And here's a little hint around the things that nourish you. It's the things that make you feel alive. It's the things that make you feel good. It is the things that light you up. This doesn't need to take a lot of energy. How do you know what they are? How do you get in touch with what they are? Ask your soul. Close your eyes and drop from your mind into your heart and feel your breath beneath your hand that's on your heart. And you just remember. And you remember that you are so much more than this physical body that you feel. You are so much more than those thoughts that are occupying your mind 24/7. You are so much more than all of the different roles that you play. Come back home to that knowing of your essence. And to that wise, expansive part of you, ask yourself, what am I craving? What do I need? What would joy feel like? What would love feel like? What would pleasure feel like? And can you let those feelings, those powerful emotions, color and flavor your day, your week? So that is the invitation, my friends. I hope you have enjoyed this little pause. But try it on each day. Make a date where you check in with yourself, not with your mind, not with your to-do list, but you go deeper in and you check in and you really ask yourself, and you really ask that aspect of you that is so vast, so wise, so unconditionally loving. It's always there. It is that part of you that's connected to the divine. Ask that aspect of you. What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? I think I said, what would you have me do twice? You get the picture. All right, beautiful beings. That is it. I just wanted to drop in with that because it dropped in for me. And this word of nourishment, I think, is such a beautiful word. In the Southern Hemisphere, we're in winter. Nourishment in winter. And what does that feel like? What does that look like? And I just feel like we don't do this enough. We don't check in enough with ourselves. and really give to ourselves like we do for so many others. And I'm not just talking about like a superficial take ourselves out for a massage or to get our nails done or whatever. Yeah, all of those things can feel beautiful. And if that is honestly what is truly what you feel like you need and lighting you up, then you go do that. But make sure you are inquiring deeper to go, what is it? And then the next thing is you act on that guidance. This is how you deepen your relationship with your intuition, is you not only ask and inquire and you listen to the response, but then you take the action. You take that inspired action. That is a key ingredient, my friend. So I'm going to leave you with that. Let me know how you found it. It is a special moment and a special practice to remember to check in with you, to remember that you are whole, to remember that you are always guided and you are loved. Have a beautiful day.